GearNetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is sponsored by our store through Amazon. If you visit shopgear.com, please remember to do that, because when you do, you provide gasoline to the engine known as Gear Radio Network, and that helps this podcast continue. It is the best way to shop for yourself, and is the best way to support this podcast. Now, on with the show.
Coming to you live from the Gear Network studios in Rochester, New York. This is the JC Money Show with your host, John Cimino, a.k.a. JC Money. And now, here's John.
And welcome, everybody, to... I guess this would be sort of our, I guess if you're combining, this could be hour number 3, but it's the JC Money Show. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Gear Radio Network, and this edition of the JC Money Show, which is a variety podcast that is on multiple podcasting platforms. You can download Google Play, Stitcher, Spreaker, whatever you want. You download it there. We are a variety show. We talk about whatever. And this week, I am joined by my FTW Podcast co-host, Mr. Brandon Garrell. Brandon, say hello to the JC Money Show.
Oh, it's so amazing to finally be here.
Yes, finally. You've been here before.
I have?
Yeah, it's just the simulcast that I was trialing out. Remember? We did the simulcast when we weren't sure. It's a year and a half ago or whatever. So, a lot's happened since then. But anyways, as you hear, and I have to do it on every single freaking podcast because I might as well, shopgear.com. It is your friend. It's the holiday season. Please use that or gearnetwork.com/Amazon or any one of our sponsor links on gearnetwork.com, and that helps support us. Brandon, all right, so we wanted the origin of this particular podcast is as we were finishing up and as we were wrapping up the FTW podcast, and you were talking about your concert, I was kind of going through Twitter just to see, some of the different news pieces, whatever the hell's going on, because that's what I do, because I live on Twitter. Like I said, I've embraced the pizza man, Ryan Wolf's love affinity for Twitter, it appears. But I was scrolling through, and election day being what as of press recording yesterday, and you spend all day and you're reading this side one, whatever. Those that know me and have followed our podcast know I'm very much not a Trump guy. I am not a Trump guy by any stretch of the imagination. I think that anybody that is a Trump person, really, honestly, I question their true intelligence. But that's just me. That's my personal opinion with that. But that said, I have never seen so much stupidity brought out to the forefront, and it angers me. It angers me when I see it. And I have a very, very low tolerance for stupidity. Ask my ex-wife. There was a conference today where Donald Trump.
God, this was a mess.
Donald, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know exactly.
An exchange with Jim Acosta.
Yeah, and then multiple reporters afterwards.
And multiple other reporters after. And this
guy
does
not like doing fucking two-sided conversations.
Right.
Which is actually just a conversation. He likes to just spit out diarrhea in the space through a text message or a Twitter tweet, and then just walk away and go eat a Whopper and watch Fox News. Because he does not know how to interact with human beings. He's fucking bananas. He
really doesn't. And
he's pacing around his podium like, "Ugh, get me out of here."
It annoys me so much that this guy is the president, and I mean, it has destroyed. I can't say that it hasn't destroyed. It has destroyed some relationships that I've been in with my family, with some friends that just don't get it. Things like that. And for some reason, those people and those type of people looked at this guy as sort of like a messiah, and like literally anything this guy says, they cling to, and it's like, yeah. And incidentally,
it's fucking coming.
Incidentally, 10 years ago, they were saying the same shit about, people with Obama. Like, oh, everything, this guy could go ahead and he could say, I'm gonna stick my teeth in your head.
Their thing used to be used to call him your king or emperor.
Yes.
I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, right.
Just shut the fuck up.
And now you've got some of those people, and to their credit, some of those people that called him, the king and the emperor, whatever, he's your king, he's your emperor, or whatever, are now wishing that they had him back. Because even some of them, even some of the smart ones, are like, dude, what the hell? Like, what are you saying? But
this
anyways,
is not normal life.
No, it's not normal life, and yet we have to treat it apparently as it is. And what really set this off, and what really got me going, wanting to talk about, in overtime in a podcast, there was a tweet from Sarah Sanders that says, quote, President Trump believes in a free press and expects and welcomes tough questions of him and his administration. We will, however, never tolerate a reporter placing his hands on a young woman just trying to do her job as a White House intern. And it was when the White House intern was trying to reach for Jim Acosta's mic, and Acosta kind of dodged it and whatever. And then she went to reach again, and he kind of blocked her attempt with his hand.
Right. Yeah.
And
which is fair game. He's not hitting her. He's defending himself from someone who is reaching and trying to take something out of his hand. Right. You don't just go, oh, okay, you're a lady. Here's the microphone.
Well,
no.
A reply was posted that says to Sarah Sanders, you're an idiot. Here's a video of what happened. Acosta never touched her. You are literally fake news. This is defamation. And it's the video of what exactly happened. And This is what pisses me off. This is what pisses me off, is because you can put whatever they say happened, whatever was the negative thing that they said happened, and you could present facts and visual evidence right there in front of your face. And these fucking morons will sit here and be like, oh, well, he touched her right there. That could be assault and blah, blah, blah. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I don't, Brandon, help me understand this. Help me understand this, because
well, it's not their boy doing it. That's why. Grabbing a girl by the pussy without asking permission is also assault, but no, that was just locker room talk. It's all good. Fair game. It's complete nonsense. It's like that with a lot of his shit. Like, you have verifiable video evidence with audio on top of it of him saying something and doing something, and they'll literally deny it and go, no, I didn't say that. And they go, oh yeah, he didn't say that. We'll just move on to the next horrible thing.
And the thing is that they will fight you.
And this is the thing. And this is what happened today should happen all the time.
Yes.
Because too many times reporters have said, oh, well, that's not really accurate. And he goes, oh, yeah, it is. Next question. And then they just give up. And then it just goes on, and it becomes true. Fuck you, Ovechkin. He just scored on a power play, because all he does is stand in one fucking spot and just waits until a puck comes to him, and he just slaps it 100 miles an hour on a power play. That's like half of his fucking career. Anyways,
Jim Acosta retweets it.
Jim Acosta,
and he says this is a lie, and I mean it is a
blatant lie. Yeah, and that's the funny thing. They want to talk about this, they want to talk about respect and everything, but yet you have the president out here saying he's a nasty, poor human being. He's rude. He's disgusting, and yet Michelle Wolf at a correspondence dinner makes a joke about her eyeshadow, and it's such blatant sexism, and the poor people are beating up on Sarah Sanders. It's like, okay, who's the fucking snowflakes here?
Wait, hold on. Apparently, I didn't read the entire Twitter chain. Sarah Sanders had more to say. All right, so we will, however, never tolerate a reporter placing his hands on a young woman just trying to do her job as a White House intern. This conduct is absolutely unacceptable. It is also completely disrespectful to the reporter's colleagues not to allow them an opportunity to ask a question. President Trump has given the press more access than any president in history. Are you fucking kidding me?
That's
Are
not
you
even
fucking
close.
kidding me? Are
That's
you fucking kidding me? Like, seriously.
Not even close.
Contrary to She continues, contrary to CNN's assertions that there is no greater demonstration of the president's support for a free press than the event he held today. Only they would attack the president for not supporting a free press in the midst of him taking 68 questions from 35 different reporters over the course of 1.5 hours, including several from the reporter in question, Jim Acosta. The fact that CNN is proud of the way their employee behaved is not only disgusting, it's an example of their outrageous disregard for everyone, including young women who work in this administration. And here's the kicker. As a result of today's incident, the White House is suspending the hard pass of the reporter, Jim Acosta, involved until further notice.
Of course. Then that's and you know what's really fucked up? And if you watch the thing in real time, first of all, you're not supporting a free press and giving access. When someone asks you a question, you immediately cut them off and telling them, no, I'm not answering your question because you're fake news. Your network is a disgrace, and quite frankly, you're a disgrace. I've had enough of you. I have no patience for you. You're done. And then he calls over this goon, which is his White House, whatever she is. Intern. She comes over and she tries to snatch the microphone out of his hand. And he's like, no, I'm not done asking a question. And she's like, no, you're done. That's not free access from the press. That's you saying, I don't want to answer your question because it's not a fluff piece. It's not you pumping up my balls and it's a tough question and I have to do something about it. So guess what? I'm going to snatch the microphone from you. And that's not a free press. That is you controlling the press conference and deciding which questions you're going to answer and which questions you're not. And when you go out there and you continuously try to delegitimize and tell, a reporter or their network that they're fake, they're not real, that they're liars, without any verifiable proof, without any evidence to back up to the contrary, just spouting off bullshit, that's not opening up for a free press. And what happened afterwards was even worse because an NBC guy says, quite frankly, I think that is beneath the office of the president and is something that you shouldn't say to. He's like, yeah, well, you're not much better either. NBC
right, exactly.
And he went in on the NBC News guy, and then he starts pacing around and
pouting like a fucking child. Like
I've never seen that. Obama got fucking crucified for wearing a tan fucking suit, and this guy is out here calling people horrible people, having microphones snatched out of them, pacing around like a fucking goon, and
saying that God plays a big part in his life too.
Yeah, and he's a big fucking baby, but yet, last guy wears a brown suit and it's a big fucking scandal. Or, he saluted somebody with a coffee in his hand. Meanwhile, our fucking president walks up the fucking stairs to Air Force One with an umbrella and just says, I'm going to drop it here. Some lackey will come fucking pick it up because I'm King Trump. Get the fuck out of here with this nonsense. And then his people will go out and say,
he's our guy. God damn it. He going to make sure that they
now that they've suspended Acosta,
kill Mexicans and not Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, and now they've suspended his access because guess what? He asked questions. So every fucking journalist needs to band together and stop this shit and say, you know what? I'm going to ask tough follow-up questions. What are you going to throw me out to? And make them throw you out. Ask the question. If he gives you a bullshit answer, you tell him, hey, that's not a real answer. That's BS. I have proof of you saying what you think you didn't say right here. And he goes, oh, you're not going to say anything, or you're done. Be like, no, I keep pushing it. But too many of these guys that go, actually, no, you didn't say that. Yeah, no, I did. Oh, okay. Next question. Okay, that's fine. You keep lying, and we're just going to let you do it.
Right. And
it's complete bullshit.
And I mean, it is spilled over. Like, my frustration with this administration is one thing, because it's
people that support him. It frustrates me even fucking more.
That is, I think, what irks me the most. If there weren't so many people that I know closely that suspend the belief of reality, or as religious people would call it, faith, suspend reality. And try to justify like these things, and on that same token, try to play the God card and say
it's just be fucking honest about it.
I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's frustrating. And you know what? I have a medium. I have a voice. We have a network. I gotta, maybe this podcast reaches nobody but me and maybe a couple of my wrestling fans, and they'll hear politics and they'll be like, fuck him. Maybe it doesn't, but you know what? It's out there, and it's gotta be out there. Things like this are just not right. And I feel I would be doing a disservice if I did not say anything about it. I hate when I say things about things like yesterday for election day. You know what pissed me off, and that spurned the little blurb cast that I did yesterday, was I got sick and tired of seeing people literally shit talk others for posting pictures of them with the stickers, "I voted today." Like, I saw that. I saw all those pictures. I saw pictures of fucking people that I'll never see in my life. But on Twitter or on Facebook or whatever, and people all posting, "I voted today," and people wearing their "I voted today" stickers. Luke Harper, he took time. He hasn't been on SmackDown, but he voted. He posted a picture. He had his voting sticker on. Like, everybody was game, and that should be highlighted, and that should be praised, and that should be, whatever side you vote for. Okay, that's the side you vote for, but you voted, and that should be celebrated. That should be put out there, not pictures of your fucking food that's, I gotta be honest, looks disgusting most of the time, but not pictures of your food, not pictures of your cat taking of your cat in the litter box or whatever, like all those stupid shits. Like, that's something good. That's good. Yeah. Voting turnout for a fucking midterm was tremendous. From all reports, it was tremendous. When I'm a 6 to 7:30 a.m. voter in my area, so this time was no different. But I went in. There was a line. There were minorities, more minorities at 6 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. in line waiting to vote on a fucking midterm. And the last time I saw that, and I'm not saying this to sound funny, I'm saying this because it's true. The last time I saw something like that was when Barack Obama was being elected president. That's the last time I saw that. So to see that for the midterms, for, a bunch of not Barack Obamas.
Right.
I mean, that's telling. That's something that should be celebrated, and it wasn't. And that was also frustrating because you got people like, well, I don't go on social media to see, political posts all the time. Well, then fucking block them.
Right.
Or don't go on social media at all, or exercise your freedom of speech, your freedom of choice, and scroll.
No. That's the same as Jesselnick said, but the thoughts and prayers. That's them saying, well, don't forget about me today, guys. Don't forget about me. That's them inserting themselves into the situation because they're dumb shits and they didn't go vote, and they're like, I don't want to vote. Voting's stupid. But I also want to be known that I think it's stupid, and I want everyone to know it's stupid, so people will talk to me and talk about me. Like, get a fucking life. Just get a fucking life. You don't like it, but they'll be the first one to go out and post when something happens and be like, oh, I don't like this person. I don't like this is happening. We're like, well, you did nothing about it, so go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself for the next 2 years. And when your bleeding asshole from fucking yourself all this time finally heals up and you want to get some smarts together, maybe you drag your sore ass to the fucking voting booth and do something about it. It's bananas. It's the dishonesty. Of today. If someone were to say to me, hey, listen, I know Trump's a scumbag. I know he lies a lot, but you know what? The tax cuts have really helped me. Or, I'm a steel worker and my plant was about to close. But you know what? He's a douche and he totally is kind of unfit to be president, but I support him because he kept me at work.
That would be respectful.
That's a respectable, real answer.
I could, saying, you know what? If somebody gave me that answer,
MAGAs. Well, no,
exactly.
America was awesome already.
But that's the thing. That's the thing is that we're we're getting the latter. We're not getting enough of the former.
Right.
If we had more of the former,
I don't know anybody that'll tell me that, hey, I support Trump because
literally
he did this for
nobody.
me.
Literally fucking
no one.
nobody. And it's frustrating.
It is frustrating because, they ignore things that are legitimate, verifiable facts. You can put the numbers down in front of their face when they say, this is the greatest economy there ever was. This is the most job creation we've ever had in 2 years. No, that's bullshit, because the last 2 years of the president that preceded you had better output of job creation. Here is the actual fucking numbers of the jobs he put out. It is more than your numbers in 2 years. It's the same measurable amount of time. It's the exact same amount of time. And they didn't put out the same numbers. And they still sit here and they still spout off the lie. Oh, my dad's overseeing the greatest economy in the history of this country. No, it's not. It's not. The early Reagan years, the early Clinton years, and they all were way fucking better than anything that Trump is doing. The last 2 years of Obama's presidency were better than this. So you can't sit here and just continue to spout that lie, because you do, and they keep saying it, and they think if they keep repeating it, it becomes true, because people get tired of saying, well, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. They move on, and it becomes fact. And then these people think it's fact because no one's challenged it, or they don't challenge it enough. They should challenge everything he fucking says every single time he says it. And then every time he says it again, challenge it again. Keep challenging it until he fucking corrects it and starts telling the fucking truth. Right. But they don't. They just go, oh, okay. Yeah. Well, other news. Well, I think it's something else horrible. Let's move on to the next horrible thing you just said. And
I think it's entirely possible, though, that he's so dim-witted and stubborn that if that were to keep happening, he would keep stonewalling them until it could be like a 4-hour chess match. And he would stonewall him because, damn it, he's Trump and he's right.
And that's fine.
Tells me.
And that's fine. And then the next time he comes out and say, hey, follow-up question, when you stormed out of the room last time, is this a blah, blah, and then he goes and storms out again, then you got the storm out crybaby president. And then guess what? He's not saying anything anymore. Mm-hmm. He isn't getting a platform because he's going to storm out.
I wish
storm out.
I
Let
wish
him storm
that
out all the time.
I wish that would happen. And here's where
he's in a heap of shit. He is hitting the panic button right now because he just lost the midterms.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to go out here and tout this brave face that, hey, we won the Senate and it was an overwhelming victory for us that night. No, you lost 32 seats.
Mm-hmm.
You lost 32 seats in the House. Now you lost a branch of government. You have also had 7 governorships flip from red to blue, and you only gained 1 governor. You gained 1 governor out of that, and they gained 7. And they gained them in states that you narrowly won, in Wisconsin, in Michigan, in Pennsylvania. Those states you narrowly won, they all now have Democratic governors. You lost badly last night. The popular vote on just a generic ballot, just based on all the votes that came through, Democrat versus Republican, 9.5 million more votes for Democrats last night. That is a wave. I saw this New York Times article, and they said, a lot of people are saying there was no wave. Well, let's put it in a map in perspective.
Yeah, I've heard that enough times.
And they show the map. What they do is they go, here's a dot, and here's the dots where, people won. Here's the other dots where people lost. And then they start showing arrows of where these pockets are that were wins. And then all of a sudden you start getting, and you accumulate all the blue on the map that changed last night. And it is a wave. You can see a large shift last night. So what does he do? First thing he does is he comes out. He has an ornery fucking press conference. He's ready to fight. He's being a total douche. And that throws off the distraction. It takes off the conversation on what's going on with, losing the midterms. And then you go to the point where the next point is that he goes and he fires the attorney general, Jeff Sessions. He fires him and puts in place a guy who has already been on record about saying that the Russia thing is a hoax and he knows exactly how to shut it down. And he's now in charge of the investigation. He now oversees Rod Rosenstein and relieved him of his duties when it comes to the Mueller probe. So he has no say on it anymore. And now this guy is in control of it. And guess what? You have a lame duck session right now. So the ethics committee can't come forward and say, hey, this Whitaker guy has to recuse himself because he has a conflict of interest because of the interviews he did on CNN and the op-ed he wrote on this on this whole thing. He has to recuse himself too.
Right.
Now they have to wait until January, which means this is going to go on hold for a while, and then January will come, and Democrats will say, well, we're reinstating Mueller's privileges here. The ethics committee has said that, this is a conflict of interest. You're no longer overseeing this. If Rosenstein still has a job as the deputy AG, he is going to be the overseer again, and the probe will continue as is. I think that Mueller already knew this. He already planned for this. He already has most of his work wrapped up. He did what he was supposed to do, which was not interfere with the midterm elections. But there has been a lot of indications that there is a lot of indictments on their way, including his son, Don Jr., who is one of the prime targets, apparently, that is up for an indictment. And that scares the shit out of him, and he doesn't want it to happen. So he immediately went in, and he went and hit the panic button, and he went and said, you know what, we're going to shut this shit down right now. And he's going to try to control this investigation. He may not fire Mueller. He might fire him. It's not certain what's happened because it just happened, but I can tell you this: it's not going to continue the way it was continuing, and is not going to be protected the way it was. And it'll be interesting to see if these dick clowns who were so appalled, like Mr. Lindsey Graham, who says if Robert Mueller is fired, there's going to be hell to pay, and it's going to be a nightmare and a massacre if he does get fired. We'll see if Team Lindsay, who's now probably going to be vying for that AG job, lives up to those words if there is interference and he is fired. Because it's going to be an exercise in futility, because the Congress could just go say, oh, we're taking over in January and we're rehiring him. And he's got full protection. This is more of a stall tactic than anything. This is going to allow Don Jr. to have Christmas indictment free. It's going to allow Roger Stone to have, Thanksgiving and Christmas with his cats. It's all distraction. It's all something a guilty person would do. A not guilty person would not do this shit. And he is playing up to it. And he's basically saying, hey, I'm fucking guilty. I have lots to hide. And then just goes, oh, well, I'm not hiding anything. It's all fake.
All right.
No,
well, you know what?
It's fake. Then guess what? You wouldn't be doing anything right now. You would just let it fucking play out and you'd be done. But you've done everything else to hamper it, to discredit it, to, fight it. But yet when it comes down to, hey, we'd like to ask you questions about this fake thing. I'm not answering any questions. Or I'll only answer these 4 simple questions. Yes, my name is Donald Trump. Yes, my hair is real. And yes, I am fat. Those are the only questions I'm going to answer. Those are the only questions I'll answer. And I will just make a statement, no collusion.
Fair enough.
Write that down in all caps, please.
Fair enough. Real quick, and we're going to end overtime now because, God damn it, I got some stuff to do anyways. But
you got to poop.
Senator Mitt Romney, Brandon. Senator Mitt Romney. Sends a tweet. I want to thank Jeff Sessions for his service to our country as Attorney General. Under Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker, it is imperative that the important work of the Justice Department continues and that the Mueller investigation proceeds to its conclusion unimpeded. Can anybody trust a motherfucking word this dude says?
It's Mitt Romney. It's Mitt Romney. I almost think that he is going. I think he's going to the Senate to basically repay Trump for the shit that he pulled on him, inviting him to dinner.
I hope so.
To try to bring him into his cabinet and then totally leave him at the altar and embarrass him. I think that he is going to go to the Senate and he is going to be a pain in Trump's ass. I really think that is, because I think that Romney is vain enough and self-absorbed enough and petty enough to try to to kind of reclaim some dignity after that pathetic dinner showing that he had to get a spot in his cabinet, only to go, "Ha, you're not getting a spot in my cabinet. You didn't support me during the thing, so forget it." And so he just did it to spite him. So I think that he's going to go ahead and he's going to spite him right back. I really legit think that. A lot of people think that he doesn't have the spine to do it. I think he does. He just won a Senate term. A Senate term is 6 years. He's not going anywhere. So I think he will be a thorn in this guy's side, and I'm actually going to love it.
Yes. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, I will deal with that when it comes time. God, I hope that is the truth, and that he, basically spends his entire time in the Senate or for however long Trump is the president trolling.
Think of it. He isn't going to have to be reelected for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way he would be going against, I guess, someone who is supportive of Trump is if Trump gets reelected for 4 more years, but it'll be the end of Trump's presidency when Romney's up for reelection.
Mm-hmm.
It's also Utah, where he is immensely popular in the state of Utah. Do you think that anything that Trump says and tries to do to Mitt Romney is going to hurt Mitt Romney's reputation or chances of being reelected? I don't think so. And I think that as petty as people like, I mean, you've got to have an ego to run for president. You've got to have an ego.
And that son of a bitch Trump has an ego.
No, Romney ran for president. He failed. He has an ego. And then he goes, he trashes Trump, thinks he's really bad for the party, which he's absolutely accurate. Everything that Romney said about Trump was true. Then he goes and says, all right, well, I'm going to try to be a part of this cabinet and try to make a difference. And then he was basically bamboozled and made a joke of. He's not going to take that lightly. So I guarantee he is going to the Senate to be a thorn in his side.
Okay. Very good.
I really think that's what's going to happen. Nobody really believes it, but I say watch. I say watch. I watched the Mitt Romney documentary after he lost the election. It was a very good documentary. It was on Netflix. The guy has an ego, but he has a lot of pride. And that was very damaging. Have those pictures of him uncomfortably sitting there having dinner with Trump just for Trump to laugh at him and say, "You're not getting a job with me. You didn't support me." That's fucked up. That's fucking with a guy's manhood.
Right.
If you've got an opportunity to steal that back, he's going to go steal that back.
Well, hopefully
it's going to be a pain in his ass.
Hopefully he shows more balls than Ted Cruz does, because Cruz sucks.
Oh my God, that was embarrassing too.
Yeah, that was embarrassing. But all right, we're gonna cut this. We're gonna cut this off.
You're like a pig. Oh, I know. She is.
We're gonna cut
the beholder.
That is the end of overtime here on the JC Money Show.
Melania, I get it.
Indeed. I have a feeling I like this. This is cool. And when duty calls, Brandon, let's do this shit again. What do you think?
All right.
Maybe. It doesn't necessarily have to be for politics. I don't know. I just saw that Sarah Sanders tweet, and it really irritated the hell out of me. Like, I can't.
Irritating. But she is a sack of skin filled with garbage.
Right.
She is the human Hefty Sinsack.
Right.
She is disgusting, and she's a Huckabee. I mean, her dad is a fucking idiot too. He makes some of the worst off-color, untimely jokes that are possible on Twitter all the time. He's a completely useless piece of shit, and his daughter is not much better.
Yeah, no, not at all. But
I'm lying because it's my job.
Wonderful. All right, well, thanks everybody for tuning into the JC Money Show overtime here for the FTW podcast. As far as the JC Money Show itself is concerned, working on getting some guests to have a completely separate conversations, probably wrestling related, that Brandon won't care about. But when duty calls for overtime on this or on the FTW podcast or any podcast really, we'll bring it here and we'll conversate again, keeping the variety thing going. Brandon, FTW podcast next week, shall we?
Sure.
All right. Good day to you, sir.
Good day to you as well.
So long, everybody. Good freaking night now. And I'm leaving that in there too.
All right, you do that.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.